Good morning, everyone. Pete here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Blu-ray DVD Pick of the Day. Today we're going to do another Radio City Music Hall performance that was captured on film, released on Blu-ray, and I'm not sure if it ever came out on DVD or not. I have the DVD of it. And I was at this show again, so 2 days in a row of me at a performance that was recorded on film, released as a concert DVD or Blu-ray. We're talking about Dream Theater Score, 20th Anniversary World Tour with the Octavarium Orchestra. This bad boy right here. So this was recorded April 1st, 2006 at New York City's famous Radio City Music Hall. Wonderful place. I mean, this is a venue that I've seen numerous shows there. I'm trying to think of all the shows I've seen at Radio City over the years. I've seen, obviously, Black Sabbath or Heaven and Hell, whatever you want to call them. I've seen Dream Theater there. I've seen Yes there. I've seen Iron Maiden there with Queensryche. I've seen Joe Bonamassa there. I've seen, numerous shows at Radio City Music Hall. And it's just a really, really cool place. It's got a lot of history, and you feel like you're in, I guess probably the only way to compare it, and I've never been there, but a lot of people talk about like the Royal Albert Hall in London. And my guess is probably Radio City Music Hall has that same kind of royalty or sense of nostalgia as the Royal Albert Hall does. It's like one of in New York City anyway. You got Madison Square Garden, which is probably the most famous venue in all the world, or at least in the States. But I think that Radio City Music Hall has a really special place because a lot of really special concerts and events have been there for so many years. So there's a lot of history there. But anyway, enough about that. How about the band? How about the DVD? So this is, like I said, I was there that night. This is a very cool concert. You could see the camera crews all over the place. Very special evening. Playing Octavarium in its entirety, with the orchestra, all that sort of stuff. It's the 20th anniversary of the band, which was, pretty cool. Again, the band from their inception. So the band didn't start releasing albums till a couple of years after, but 1986 was when Dream Theater actually got together. So here you've got the lineup, of course, of James LaBrie on vocals, John Mayung on bass, John Petrucci on guitar, Mike Portnoy on drums, and Jordan Rudess on keyboards. So, of course, this is a couple of years before Mike Portnoy would leave the band. So what do we got on here? So here we have disc 1, which is set 1. Here you've got The Root of All Evil, I Walk Beside You, Another One, Afterlife, Under a Glass Moon, Innocence Faded, Raise the Knife, The Spirit Carries On. That's Act 1 or Set 1. Set 2, Bring Out the Orchestra for 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, Vacancy, The Answer Lies Within, Sacrifice Sons, Octavarium, the entire piece, and Metropolis. So basically you get the Octavarium album interspersed with various other Dream Theater classics. No Pull Me Under that evening. It's interesting because I've seen Dream Theater live more than any other band. And one of the things that I always like about going to see Dream Theater is that, especially on the earlier tours, post Portnoy, they haven't done it as much, but when Portnoy was still in the band, they did a great job of changing up the set lists dramatically on every tour from night to night. So it's almost kind of like, what the Grateful Dead always used to do. It's like, every night you never knew what you were going to get as far as the set list. Dream Theater was the same thing. So a lot of times on so many tours, like I said, I've seen them 20-something times. And many times, multiple times per tour. It's like I could go see them in, New Jersey one night and New York the next, and they would play a completely different set each night. So it was worth going to see them in a lot of times, multiple times on a tour, because you get completely different sets, like seeing different tours like every night. So pretty cool. I always love when they did that. They don't do that as much anymore. They kind of stick to pretty similar. Maybe they switch out a song or two from night to night, but usually it's pretty much the same. Also on disc 2, you got some bonus material, some additional clips from Chicago, from the year prior, Bucharest, Tokyo, so on and so forth. So a really good jam-packed concert DVD here. Yeah, no booklet on this particular one. But Yeah, cool concept. I mean, a lot of bands have done the orchestra thing, and I think with Octavarium it works pretty well. The orchestra thing for me is kind of like, it's cool to see it every so often, but I don't like when bands kind of go back to that too often. It's good for like a big kind of anniversary show, right? It adds a little bit of flair, a little bit of bombast, a little bit of I don't even know what the word is. I'm like, a little majesty, right? A little majesty to the to some of the songs, and it makes it feel really special. But I like when bands use it only on very, very special occasions, because I'm not a big orchestra with rock music or metal music on all the time. It's like, it's good every once in a while. But anyway, Score by Dream Theater. I was there. In-house. Packed house. It's funny because I remember that night specifically, and how excited the band were to be playing, headlining Radio City Music Hall and selling it out. Because they're from New York, with the exception of James Labrie, who's Canadian. The rest of the guys are all Long Island boys, and Rudess is not. But the original guys, Mayong, Petrucci, and Portnoy are originally, they're all Long Island guys, and for them, being able to headline and sell out Radio City Music Hall was a big deal for them. And I remember how stoked they really looked to be, headline and playing Radio City for this special occasion. So it was really cool to be in the audience and share it with them. And if I remember correctly, they had a lot of family there, in the special seats, and they were pointing them out and announcing them the whole night. So it was pretty cool. It was again, this is 2006, so it was 14 years ago, and Dream Theater was still really, on the upswing, and becoming that veteran band at the time. So very cool stuff. Good night, and I have pleasant memories from it. So Dream Theater Score, 20th anniversary show on DVD. Check it out if you haven't. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up in just a little while, because it's early, Chris Allo's coming on the show. We're going to do a Deep Cut Dive for Saxon as we kind of finish up the Deep Cut Dive show, because I'm itching to move on to other things. So Deep Cut Dives will be kind of being phased out over the next week or so. I got a couple more that I have yet to do, but I'm ready to move on to other things. Specifically, I want to move on to that favorite guitar solos by guitar player series. That's going to be happening. Also, hoping tonight. Schedule for tonight, Mike Antonelli. Haven't seen him on the show in a while. Mike and I are getting together tonight. We're going to start up another new show theme, which is all about iconic band lineups. So you know who they all are, man. Those bands that had 3 or 4 or 5 guys, all of them iconic, and because they were all together, they made up this iconic band. And in some cases, we might be talking about bands who had multiple lineups, but one of them is the one that everybody remembers, everybody talks about. So you know who all the usual suspects are. And I'm going to get various guests to help me with these, okay? Because I want it to be like a discussion type of thing between 2 or a couple people. And it's just going to be talking about these bands and why each of the individual members were so important to that band. And together they made what they made happen in a big way. So the inaugural episode that Mike and Antonelli and I are going to talk about tonight is going to center around a little band that you might know, a band called Led Zeppelin. Okay, so we're going to talk about why Page and Plant and Bonham and Jones, why the 4 of those guys together made it all happen, why you really couldn't take one of them out of the equation, right? It had to be those 4 guys, and we're going to talk about kind of all the reasons why they were so important to that band's success and, longevity as far as being a favorite band of so many people, right? So that's coming up hopefully tonight from the brewery at Orange County Hops, and so stay tuned for that. That'll be the first in a series of shows about those iconic band lineups, right? So I'll be reaching out to various folks who have been on the show to kind of talk about some of these bands, and should be lots of fun, right? So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube all the damn time. Don't forget, if you're interested in Sea of Tranquility merch, the link is in the description of the video below. Get your t-shirts, get your hoodies, get your hats, get your coffee mugs, your stickers. We got all sorts of stuff there with the Sea of Tranquility logo on it, so check that out. You can click right over to the online page to order that stuff. If you're interested in donating to the channel to help us out a little bit, there's a Ko-Fi link below where you can send some send some money to help us pay for some of this stuff that we're doing and, keep this engine rolling. So whatever you do is greatly appreciated. Please let the ads run. That also helps quite a bit here to keep the revenue flowing in on this channel, because, we're putting so much work and effort into this channel each and every week. So, and thank you all for everything you do. So we'll take care. We'll see you guys later on. Bye-bye.